Hi guys, it's Max, Simon, Belf and Rowan here from Kaizer Vanguard, and today we're going to be discussing the stream we've seen from today in a slightly more bite-sized version of our podcast. We've all got places to be, and actually the stream wasn't overly exciting today, so we're going to try and keep things nice and concise.
It was
Uh,
also very long as well.
it was a very long stream with very little interesting things to talk about.
I did enjoy how they decided. You know what? We're gonna show off this new thing in Zero by making it lose.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
quite funny. Um, we'll get into that. But I mean, I think we're pretty much all in the same position we were in last week. We've had the announcement in the UK now that most of our game shops will be opening in the next kind of 2 weeks or so. So we're all pretty excited to be able to meet up and actually play physically again. But at the minute, we're all still locked up and waiting for freedom to be able to do things that aren't on Tabletop Simulator.
Yeah.
I mean,
I've
we
done
can
nothing
meet in
new.
we can meet in the back garden 2 feet away, so that
Yeah.
nobody can throw my cards anymore.
Yeah.
That's fine. We'll just buy some dual discs. and go like that.
So
Yeah, let's get a proper fight table going.
yeah, that'd be fun. So
Has to
before
be
we
2
get into
meters long,
the,
though.
before we get into the stream, we're going to look at some of the other things. So we've got the Zero news, Rowan, if you want to quickly dive into that.
Right. So as of yesterday, the new set released in global for Vanguard Zero, which is set 4, which for us was set 5 because it's Awakening of Twin Blades, same name and everything, which is the MLB, Doe, and Shadow Paladin set. So I've done a pack opening of 237 packs on the channel. So if you are interested in what's in the set, go ahead and check that out. I pulled really good on my main account, pulled awful on the other two. Then we have, starting from tomorrow, we've got the White Day event, which is very similar to the Valentine's Day event, as far as I'm aware, like gameplay-wise. And you can get 2 skins from it. I only know of 1, though. I know that there's a really pretty Ren skin that you can get, where he's wearing like a suit and he's got his hair tied back.
There's a Kai in a white suit skin as well, which I will be simping for.
Yeah, there we go. Right, so yeah, you can get 2 skins from that. It's going to be a very boring event, most likely, other than just grinding for those skins. Other than that, we did get this full thing, like calendar thing for the month ahead. This is an awful picture, and I can hardly read it. Can't quite see. I know White Day event is from tomorrow until the 12th, and then carries on the exchange through to the 14th. We've got the... I can't even see that. What's that blue thing say?
I think it's they're increasing Shadow Paladin pull rates for like 4 days
okay.
from the 12th.
Yeah, which I probably won't need, considering I'm missing 1 Buster Overlord right now, and that's all I need.
Yeah,
It's character fights ×2, so that means like you'll get like material.
Oh,
times
yeah,
2.
yeah, yeah.
And then the green
The
one
VP.
is VP ×2, so.
Yeah.
I know that from the 18th there's, I think it's Mai and Emmy's friendship event, so that's more Bermuda garbage. Who cares?
Yeah, I have no idea. what that
it's
is.
Neonectar. It's Neonectar event.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Yeah, so you'll be able to play Neonectar.
oh, is that
It's,
the is that the
it's
record?
similar to the Kyo and the Goki event.
Yeah.
Not
good, I'm
sure
looking
why.
forward to
I think the Emmy bit is just the Bermuda sleeves.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess it's because they're all in the same class in the show or something.
That makes sense. And then there's more VP stuff. The season, which is Perfect Riser right now, ends around halfway through the month usually. But it doesn't seem to say that on here. And then the next one, I believe, is Riviera or Reindeer. I think it's some sort of Bermuda card.
Yeah, it was one of those two in Japan as well.
Yeah, I think it's Reindeer, and then it's maybe Riviera later. But other news that we did get, actually, is that Riviera and Reindeer are getting buffs in English, or have already gotten them. So they've buffed Reindeer into an 11k base, and they've buffed the starter for Reindeer, because later on, basically, they're bringing out Coral, which is the same sort of ride chain, which is one of the Duke ride chains, where you ride the grade 1 on top of the grade 0, search top 7 for either the grade 2 or 3. But I think they've changed the grade 0 that if you don't ride the correct grade 1 on it, you can pull it out. Yeah. Which before, I think you could only pull it out when you get to grade 3. But now it's letting you pull it out earlier. I think that's all it changed. I think they might have buffed the grade 3 Riviera as well, but I can't quite remember.
It's just
I don't
the
remember.
starting Vanguard. That's it.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
I
so
know
there's that, and then also we talked about it last week. The Wingle Brave and Taegis were getting nerfed in Japanese format. As they got released yesterday. Well, as Wingle Brave got released yesterday, they have confirmed that they are not nerfing them in global as of yet. So they're probably going to wait a set or two and then probably nerf them.
So MLB players in Japan have to play is it Cal Blast 1, search for top 5 or grade 3, so we're forced
Yeah.
to play that now instead of the Wingle Brave because it's too costly.
Yeah. I mean, I think I'd personally go change the whole deck around and play Garmor MLB instead.
Armor engine.
Yeah, they play the Garmor engine in MLB and play Brugel, 4 Snowgulls and 4 Garmors. But that's just me. I like that build. I have that build already built in English, in global as well.
That's more focused on Garmor though, rather than MLB though.
Yeah, it's mainly just because MLB just like dies to blockade. So if your opponent's playing blockade, if you play Garmor, it gets past it. I think we talked about that last week as well, or the week before.
I just know I'm ready. I'm really ready to just call or ride Taegis and start sniping Wingle Brave. My God.
Yeah, my first game in ranked yesterday was against Dote deck where they did that to me. I was very upset. I think that's all for Zero news though. I don't think there's anything else particularly interesting.
In Japan, we got Leon Aquaforce.
Oh yeah. There was a new set released in Japan as well.
Yeah.
I think we'll be covering that more next week.
Yeah.
So we got the is she called Lady Fencer? She's the one that was from she was in G, wasn't she? So
She was in one of the late G extra boosters.
Yeah, so she's got a new skill as well. She was revealed during the week via social media, and her skill is rear guard when it attacks. If you have a Messiah Vanguard, this unit gains 5k to the end of the turn. Then at the end of that battle, you lock this unit. So we're going to see this really bouncing off of the new Messiah, aren't we? The new Messiah, when it attacks, you unlock your units or something like that.
Yeah, I think that's just a general Messiah thing.
Yeah.
The main thing why this card is I think this card is actually insane.
I think it's really good
free.
too.
It's free. It costs nothing, and this just gives Messiah a free multi-attack. You don't want to play Lady Battler anymore because you can just use this. You can recycle this if it dies with the new Messiah. You can Superior Call this with the old Messiah just to get the setup rolling. This card is actually really, really good.
It's Messiah Force 1 deck, so you can just play Force 1 and then call this out, attack for 25, and then lock it, and then re-unlock it, and then attack for 25 again. So I think a lot of players will either play Force 1 with this card.
Yeah,
But there's a grade 4 as well, but the grade 4 with 30k. I think it depends really, because you can play Force 2 with that and give it a crit, because it's got so much power. But I think mainly Messiah decks will use Force 1 because of this card, because it's more consistent.
Yeah.
I think this being able to lock itself for free is the main selling point, though, because the problem before was you had to use a bunch of extenders that actually cost resources. Like you had to use I think it was Battler of the Gravity Well, like one of the normal No, it was Blast Monk. And there wasn't really anything that locked itself without a cost, so that you could just get those free extra attacks with relevant numbers. Now you actually can. This is also really, really good with the original Messiah, because you can go swing 15, swing with your right-hand column, then you can go swing with your Vanguard, discard a few, call a grade 1 as lock behind this, then unlock everything, draw 4 cards, and then this gains another 15k, so this becomes a 30k plus attacker, and then more if you have a force as well. I really like this card. I think you just have to play this in every Messiah variant in Standard and Premium.
Yeah, so with Messiah, when we were looking at it, with all the cards released, it wasn't like much going on, but with this card, I felt like it brought the deck more viable. Gave it life, to be honest.
Yeah, it did seem very underwhelming compared to the other stuff that were released in the set.
Yeah, very lackluster, I think.
Yeah, I do I've noticed it's got the little brackets underneath it on the Japanese text on the card. Is that just saying that when a card is unlocked, it gets stood, basically?
Yeah.
Technically cards are locked as stands, so when they're unlocked, they're already stood rather than
Yeah.
being rested. Because they like
I
lock
remember that in
things
G
at
format.
rest. They like lock things at rest in the anime, and that's not how that works.
Yeah, in G format, I remember getting into a kerfuffle, we'll say, in the middle of a tournament because my opponent did that to me, and it was the first time I'd ever seen it. I've seen they basically locked their own cards, then unlocked it to do a second attack, and I was there like, hang on a second. When you lock a card, I've never seen a rule that says it stands it when it's locked, or anything like that, and that was a whole
Yeah.
thing.
I think it was up until Messiah, it wasn't really relevant
Yeah,
whether
exactly.
or not it was stood.
Yeah. But yeah, that is how it works, and it's nice for them to put clarification on that on an actual card, so that the bad players will realise what it does.
Yeah, like you.
Yeah, exactly.
We've also had some more Dragon reveals, which I know Belf will be excited about.
Hell yeah,
Yes.
brother. So this guy is a double rare for Kagero from set 8, and it has the act skill on Vanguard and Rearguard, counter +1, and you put a normal unit from your drop zone to the bottom of your deck. Choose your opponent's grade 2 or less Rearguard, retire it, and if you have 4 or less cards in hand, draw 1. So this card looks like they took Berserk Dragon and Burnout and just mashed them into one card, while giving it the 4 or less restriction that has been on Dote in its V-Series incarnation.
Well, it's not really a restriction. It's just
No, I mean, the way that Dote works in Standard is if you have 4 or less cards in hand, you get a restand, like an extra restand, and they've started printing more cards that care about you having 4 or less cards in hand.
isn't it 3 or less for Don't?
It's 4 or less, because
Oh, yeah.
it's
This whole time I thought it was 3 or less.
it's
4.
discard 3 for one of its restands, and then its other restand is if you
Oh,
have 4 or
okay.
less.
That'll be why I've got 3 in my head. Okay, that makes sense.
So with this
Oh, it's
being 4 or
crazy.
less,
It
I
is.
think this card's like crazy because you could just like you could use it by ride, and also it's got an act ability, so you could just use it whenever you want, really, during your turn. And you could just say like, I'll use it this turn, and I'll use it the next turn. It's just spammable. You can just keep drawing cards as long as you have 4 or less cards.
yeah, the only problem with being able to do this consistently, like on curve on your grade 2 turn, is you probably won't have a normal unit in your drop zone to put back, which is part of the cost. So you won't be able to do that.
Yeah, unless you've been doing like early guarding, and if you have been doing early guarding, you probably won't have the counterblast instead.
Yeah,
What I found with Kagero is you use a lot of air modes and the Sable Dragon New, and you can just like refresh those. You know, like because you kill them off when you can like use this effect too, because it's act as well. You can go call ammo, call this, use this skill, chain ammo's ability to counter charge, and then it kills itself. And then you can if you've got ammo already there, you can like refresh your ammos, refresh your Sable Dragon New. It's like the pieces that are really important with Kagero. So I think this card's like really, really powerful right now.
yeah. I
And
think one of the main other things that you can do with this is you can put your really, really silly grade 3s back in your deck. Like, I am looking forward to putting Waterfalls at the bottom of my deck with this thing.
I don't think you run that, but yeah.
I think you can play it with Blade Master. It's as a reasonable backup, because I don't think you're playing original Blade Master. I think you're playing Forsoen, and then if you want to play other grade 3s, you can play some copies of Waterfall, because that card is still very silly. But yeah, I hope that this isn't signaling that the Cross cares about 4 or less. I hope that this is just the end support, which I would be fine with. And then the next card that we have to talk about is also another card that functions in a similar way. So this guy's the auto and rear guard at the end of the battle that it boosted. If you have 4 or less cards in hand, you put it into your soul until the end of the turn. One of your vanguards gains 5k. So again, this is very clearly the end support, because the end chews a lot of soul, especially with Buster, which is a Soul Blast 2. And this guy gives multiple, like, you can get multiple instances of the 5k buff because your vanguard restands a lot, especially in the end.
Also, you're using Force 2, so you won't get that plus 10k. So you having this card give it 5k is quite necessary, I think.
Yeah, it's also pretty nice if you are on the end and you manage to get a deck out as well, so that you can have the Battledore Fighter 2 guard ability on your vanguard. I think if you're playing the end, you'll probably want to play a few copies of this card, but other than that, I don't think that this is super necessary in Kagero. It is very nice to finally get something that goes into the soul that doesn't cost anything else.
It might be a 2-off because like putting something in Soul is always important in Kagero, because Soul is very, very minimal in Kagero. So I think this card might be might see play because it might be a 2-off, because there's a lot of cards that Soul Blast, like the Berserk Dragons and the Overlords itself. Or all 3 Overlord, I think, Soul Blast, apart from the Great.
I feel like there isn't much choice for grade 1s in Kagero, because you've kind of got to play 4 ammo, got to play 4 Dragonute.
I don't think
I think there's a lot. I think there's a lot.
I mean, it's just like that's 8 of your grade 1s right there. Like, I would say you'd have to play 4 and 4 of those anyway.
You've got the
they're both
Kimnara.
insane.
You've got Kimnara. You've got the Doha Wyvern thing, the grade 1. I think there's...
Play Kimnara?
Yeah, because against XL is pretty good.
Okay. I mean,
Yeah.
XL's going to be awful once MLB comes out anyway.
Yeah, obviously.
Everyone's just going to be like, oh, I'm playing XL and you're playing MLB? Okay, extend hand.
Yeah. I think that there is a lot of variance in what you're able to play in your Kagero builds now, especially for your grade 1 lineup. Because before it was pretty solid. You had to play 4 bar, you had to play 4 ammo, you had to play 4 of another filler grade 1 like Raupia or Reyes. I think that honestly you'll actually have differing grade 1 lineups depending on what build you're playing. So if you're playing the Blade Master build, you have to play the 4 copies of Garen. You have to play the 4 copies of the new grade 1, who I think we can talk about later. She's actually getting a promo reprint. And then you'll probably want to play some copies of ammo. While in like an Overlord centric build, you probably want to play a few copies of this because Overlord chugs soul like no tomorrow. And Overlord artificially has less soul as well because a lot of their cards require you to have a grade 3 in the soul or a grade 3 with Overlord in the soul, so that you can't actually soul blast that out without losing a lot of your card's abilities. So I think Overlord players are definitely happy to see this. I am. This actually makes me want to play the end.
I think this is hinting towards the Cross's skill as well. I think this is all of these cards that are saying if you've got 4 or less cards in your hand. I know they're all like, yeah, they're dote skills, but I think because they're showing all these with new cards as well, it means most likely the Cross is going to have some skill that either requires 4 or less cards in hand or discards your hand down to 4 or less cards.
I could see it. The Cross just lets you take an Overlord and copy its skill and name, so that
maybe
you would like the Cross itself wouldn't care about 4 or less, but if you copied the end, then it would.
It might do that as well as having the like sort of cross ride thing that MLB has. It might do that, but also be like on 18k base during your opponent's turn or something.
But we don't know because they decided not to reveal it this week.
I kind of think it's going to be like a discard Overlord skill. So you'll have to discard an Overlord from your hand. Any Overlord. Could be Dragon Overlord, the Great, or the End. So it kind of forces you to play both Dragon Overlords.
It might even be something insane like for each Overlord you discard, it does something.
I could see it being like
cool.
I could see it being like on ride, check top 7 for an Overlord, add it to your hand, and then if you added a card, discard a card, and then you can like counterblast 1, take an Overlord from your hand, put it into the soul, and then copy the skill of an Overlord in your soul. I could see something like that.
Yeah, that'd be pretty
Just
cool.
because Overlord's number 1 problem is on the grade 3 turn, it does absolutely nothing, and this would artificially let you get a grade 3 Overlord in the soul. It would let you be able to get their grade 3 in the soul effects off straight away. Like you'd be able to get the Great's restand, you'd be able to get the End's first restand without having to nuke your hand a lot because it needs an Overlord in the soul. You could even maybe do silly things like with Waterfall and just load your soul with extra grade 3s. But again, this is purely speculation, and this is what I want the card to do.
Right, I think we've been talking about Kagero a bit too long now. Let's move on. Oh wait, more Kagero. Never.
Well,
So,
Belf, you
yeah.
got excited about this. You better say why you're excited, because
This is a grade 1 rare from set 8. I think it's just Soul Blast 1. Choose any number of Doa and Garen from your drop zone, shuffle them into your deck, and it gains 5k. So they're just releasing this as a full art promo in the next wave of promo packs in Japan. I really hope this comes to the West because this card is very pretty. And
We
I
do
will have-
usually get their promo packs, to be fair.
Yeah, I will have to get a playset of these for my Blade Master deck, which is pretty sad.
I just hope they'll either be definitely hollow or they'll have like a nice hollow, like foil treatment to them.
it's gonna be shatter foil just to make it crap.
Blech.
As long as we
Or they'll
don't
put
get
some of that
them-
horrible gold writing over the top.
Yeah, I was about to
Yeah,
say,
I
I wonder
prefer
if I'll
that.
get the massive congrats stamp over it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You remember the first wave of congrats promos that just happened to have like Origin rare treatment, and the only one that we got in the West was Raopia
Yeah.
And
Let's
like-
Oh
talk
no,
about.
we got Blaster Rapier as well.
and Penguin Soldier.
Let's
Yeah.
quickly talk about Grand Volva and the 2 reveals we got from Set 8 today. It's probably important to also look straight at Grandgallop as soon as we've looked at Grand Volva because they are so reliant on each other. So Grand Volva's skill is Counter Blast 1, Soul Blast 1, it gains 10k until the end of the turn. Then if you've got a Grandgallop, you draw a card and your Vanguard gains a crit. Now this is important because our new Grandgallop we've had revealed skill is completely based on the number of criticals it has. It's a grade 3 Force 13k base Vanguard, just like most of the grade 3s for Force. Like all of the grade 3s for Force? Is there anything that's not 13k?
It's not a grade 3. Like there are
There's
others
grade 4s
that
and stuff,
have-
obviously, but
Yeah.
I think, yeah, all grade 3s, yeah. So its skill is, if you've got 2 crits, so say if you have used your Force marker to get Force 2, you're now going to have all your units with 5k in the front row.
It's only your rear guards though, so it doesn't count
Yeah,
itself.
or yeah.
Oh, it doesn't count himself. Oh, that
Um,
sucks.
Then if you've got 3 or more, your front row rear guards gain 10k. If you've got 4 or more crits, your front row rear guards gain a crit. And then it's also got a skill that's Counter Blast 1, and this unit gains a critical until the end of the turn, once per turn. So, if you've got your Grand Volva, you've got your Force 2, and you're using this guy's skill, you're getting all 4 of these skills off straight away. So, you're now saying to your opponent, guard on 4 damage or die. I guess is the whole point of this guy.
It's
Yeah,
crazy.
basically.
One
I,
of the
I
things-
think this
Go
deck might even end up becoming like a guard on 3 damage or die.
Yeah.
Like if there's anything that like superior rides or
Yes.
you can ride a bit earlier or anything like that, so you can get 2 Force 2s out.
So
it's like
there is
Guard
a
2 of these attacks.
there is a grade 3 triple rare that after it attacks you can look at top 10 for a grade 3 and superior ride it as rest, I think, or something. Black. I think it's going to be very silly with this.
Yeah.
You can also then, after this has had a lot of pressure with your rearguard attacks, having more power and some extra crits, then you get to just ride your Great Dayusha on top if you hit the power threshold. The fact that this thing doesn't buff itself and only makes your rearguards more powerful makes this way less scary than we thought it was going to be, because we thought that this thing was
Yeah.
always going to be 28k, crit 3, crit 4.
Yeah, that's what I thought when it first like, get announced, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but the
All
fact
the
that this
sort of
thing
thing
is
as well.
usually going to be 13 or 23, especially with the new Sentinel crits, or just being able to normal PG it, makes this thing way less scary. Honestly, I'm a little bit annoyed that this thing isn't 4k base, or 14k base, because one of the gallops that came out towards the end of G, while everything else was 11k base, was naturally 13k base, and I kind of wish that they kept that going on as like Dimension Police's thing. Another thing that we didn't put in the presentation but was revealed this week was the grade 3 searcher for DP, which is exactly the same as all the other grade 3 searchers, except its shtick is if you have a grade 3 anywhere on your board, it gains 5k power. So that's Grand Rope.
Not bad.
Yeah. I think
I mean,
it's probably going to be quite a cool deck. I think it's probably going to make people really mad because it's probably going to make people salty.
I definitely don't think it's going to be a tier 1 deck.
No, it's not
At
going to be a
all.
tier 1 deck. I think it's going to be a good budget deck.
I think it's it can be up there though. Definitely can be up there. I think.
Oh, it's
different-
going to be it's going to be one of those tier 2 decks that can compete with tier 1 deck.
Yeah,
Like,
it's,
it can
gonna be,
occasionally win games against them, but 9 times out of 10 it will probably lose.
it's
Yeah.
going to be one of those decks.
I would be
that-
loving this card right now though. Different Fire would be loving this card right now.
Well, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Honestly, I can't wait for a kid to have like 80 pounds or something come in with this full deck, play like 12 crits, and just win with the power of anime on his side every single time. I mean, like, if you go first and you get this thing with like 3 crits, that is a little bit scary. But I think a lot of decks right now are going to be able to compete with this. Like, Vanquisher and Revon get a big enough hand that they'll be able to just hard guard this. If Susanoo is as good as we think it's going to be, if they go first, they obviously just have the Protect marker, or they have all the extra natural cards in hand from being Oracle Think Tank. Yeah, I think that this deck is going to be very okay. I'm not losing sleep over this thing 4-critting me to death every round at a national, but it's definitely something that I'm going to have to think about.
Yeah.
So, can we move on now?
Yep.
We've got
so
the good stuff
we'll
now.
talk about the,
yeah,
the really,
definitely
the really
the good stuff.
Yeah, the really good, excited stuff that we're all really excited for. So we've all ordered 7 cases of this each, in Japanese, that we're going to play test, for us to be ready for the English set, because we're all just so excited for Bang G and Film Live. Rowan's got his Token Rambu deck ready to play against it, and we can't even sleep without excited about this set. It's just changed our entire outlook on Vanguard.
Just to get ahead of the game, I've started playing this deck in Weiss.
Have you?
Beat that, nerds.
Yeah.
It also means I started playing Weiss.
Yeah. And of course,
I'm not a masochist.
Of course, none of that's true, and we couldn't care less about this set. And we're not even going to think about it until there's some kind of dreaded announcement that it's coming to English, and then we'll be salty and we'll whinge about it for an hour. But until that happens,
I'll still probably ignore its existence.
We'll,
Someone pulls it out against me in a tournament, I'll just be like, "Where's your deck?"
so we'll ignore it for now. Next, we move on to the Rowan segment.
I'm a happy boy. So today we saw that Dragheart Luard and Phantom Master Overlord have been confirmed in set 10.
Are you happy about Spike?
I could not care less about Spike. Spike could fall off the face of the earth for all I care. So I've played. These are probably the 2 decks that I've played longest in Vanguard. So as soon as Overlord came out, played Shadow Paladin constantly. I think I kept my original Shadow Paladin deck and all the way up until Rage Reform came out, which was set 9, I think. So that was like a good 4 sets.
Yeah.
Dragheart Luard, obviously, as soon as that came out, I was playing Dragheart in G, and I think that came out around set 9 in
I think
G
it was
as well.
11.
Are you sure? I think set 9 was his GR.
I know that he had a
Divine
trial.
Dragon Caper. Yeah, Divine Dragon Caper was set 9.
Okay, I stand corrected.
Well then.
It says Dragheart Luhard's gonna have a new marker, whatever that means.
What?
So yeah, it's gonna have like a new marker. We're not sure what it is.
Oh, it's gonna be like some wizard marker or something, isn't it?
Not sure.
I really hope that he has like skills that cost counterblast, but they get discounted by how many essentially how much ritual you're at. But we don't
Yeah.
really have any like Luard specific skills for him to go off of, because all of his skills have always cared about either superior call in grade 1s whenever you stride or getting cheaper strides. He's never actually done anything by himself. So that's going to be really cool to see what they come up with.
Yeah, I'd like to. I'm looking forward to like how it'll mix with G as well, with premium, because obviously Luard has always been like a very good contender for premium decks. Like even now with Zazan, I still think Luard can just about compete. Mainly just because of Masquerade, but still, not Masquerade, Mofessor even.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to what it will change in the premium scene for Luard, because Luard has always sort of updated slightly every time a Shadow sets come out. Like Nemain came out, let's lob 4 of them in the deck. Brandon came out, let's lob 4 of them in the deck. So I'm looking forward to what will happen with this.
I'm really scared for that grade 1 that gets like a bunch of power if you have a Luard Vanguard, and because now we're gonna have a Luard with Force and Dagda.
Yeah. Also, if it's got like a decent effect as well, like an actual grade 3 effect, there's the new Stride that came out that copies the grade 3 underneath it. So it'll copy this Luard's effect as well as being a Luard Vanguard. So you'll have
please.
all your good stuff like Belial Owl that you'll be able to use.
But I think they're also going to make Belial Owl the Sentinel crit for this set as well, because I don't think anyone cares about the Claret crit at all.
Yeah, I'd be more than happy if this set got no Claret support whatsoever. Because I could not care less about Claret. As much as I do love Shadow Paladin, Claret is the worst thing that's happened to it.
Yeah, the only thing that's going to be irritating is if you want your SP brand ones, they are in a different set rather than this set. So
I mean, they very well could be in this set as well. There's 36 SPs.
So this means that you are going to have to get 2 VRs for Shadow Paladin. So what are we looking forward to the most from Overlord? The wrong Overlord, by the way, that they revealed today.
I mean,
not salty at all.
Completely disagree, but okay. So at the moment, I don't like this artwork of Overlord. I think it looks cool and everything, but I think on a card, it's a bit too much going on. But we did see today that they are releasing the other artwork of Overlord, which is right there. The gorgeous Ninin artwork that we've all grown to love.
But isn't the
I especially love this
isn't
card
the-
because I got
isn't
an
this
SP
one
copy
also-
for a Blazing Flare Dragon.
Isn't
What?
this one's artwork also in Ninin?
Most likely.
Because it says
No,
it says on
It
the
does say- it does say
says-
Ninin on the bottom
it says
right, yeah.
Ninin on the
No,
Although
bottom
I
right.
think-
Ninin did Luard.
It says illustration.
I think it's Lack.
I thought.
Yeah, I
No,
think Lack
it's
did.
it's Lack that did Luard. Ninin did the original illustration and design for
yeah.
PBO. This is a different artist who's done
Okay.
this art
Yeah.
for
So obviously,
PBO.
I'd much rather have the person who designed the card doing the artwork for it.
But then that means that you just get the guy who did the manga designing all of the cards from like the first wave of V, and we all know how good his artwork is, with incredibly big anime eyes.
Yeah.
Big enemy eyes. Yeah, so I'm very much looking forward to the Overlord stuff as well.
How many? of these do you
Sadly, I
think
did
stamp?
get rid of my Shadow stuff before this came out. So like I've got rid of all my Blaster stuff, so I'm not looking forward to them going up in value.
Yeah. Do you think that they'll be doing a stamped version of this that will cost 10 times more than anything else, or do you think that?
Well, I think that probably is what it is going to be, the
they'll be
ASR.
stamped? Yeah.
I imagine it's not just going to be that plain like that. I imagine it's going to be covered in gold shit.
Yeah.
Probably have a picture of Ren on it or something somewhere.
Are you more than ready to buy a playset of these?
No,
Maybe they'll
Are you
just
going
give,
to
maybe
do
they'll
it
just give PBO red hair.
probably. PBO red hair.
And a trench coat.
It's just someone just photoshopped a picture of Ren's face onto it.
Yeah.
That's all it is. But he's got to have a fucked up hand as well
Yeah.
to keep in contact with all the other Ren cards.
So, the other reveals. I think this is our last slide, is it, Bill?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
I think
So
this
these
is
are
all
the,
we-
these are called the honourable mentions of clans that are so irrelevant that the Bushiroad designers had to put 2 pictures of the same clan for the booster pack, rather than including any of the other 3 clans that are in the set, because they know that nobody cares about them.
To be fair, I am really excited about like Gridora. Gridora was really cool in G.
Yeah.
Rising, I could not give like I play Spike Brothers. I could not give less of a shit about Rising. I do not care about Rising whatsoever.
I do
Um,
like that they seem to have, well, that they're going straight for good Gridora this time, rather than what they did in G, which was just Darkface first,
I think
and then bring out Gridora, who's
I
also got
think
Darkface in
normal
their name.
Darkface is going to end up being a triple.
Yeah,
Most likely, because they did that with the last Mega Colony set as well. Like they introduced this brand new VR where they still had Cyclomatooth as a triple, which was like
Maybe-
I think the original Limit Break card.
maybe they just don't want to bring out a card called Darkface with all the whole Black
Gridora
Lives
is a
Matter
Darkface
thing going on.
Gridora. is
Yeah,
the
but it's not
Darkface
just
card.
called Mega Colony Man Darkface, whatever the fuck Darkface's name is.
I mean, that's an
uh,
entire
yeah.
can of worms. I don't think we want to be opening on a card game podcast.
Yeah.
The new Gaia, I know that a few friends of mine actually really enjoy Tachikaze, and not just because Anger Blader is mega busted. And they're really looking forward to this because Gaia has some really good strides and really good support, but you do need a Gaia Vanguard.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty. I mean, I'm not looking forward to having to buy Risings, but I did buy a bunch of old Rising related strides a few weeks ago, and they have all gone up in price. Feels good.
Basically, even the person who would care about this stuff doesn't really care about this stuff.
Yeah, because this set is coming out like 2 months after the Overlord set, and I have to blow like all my money on the Overlord set. So I might pick this up if I have spare cash lying around. But like again, the main moneymaker in this set is going to be Shadow Paladin.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So, I mean, that's pretty much it. Next week we've got the 100th stream from Bushiroad to look forward to, and the return
Which
of Doctor
will-
O.
Yeah, 99% chance it's going to have the X in it as well.
So hopefully next week we'll have some reveals that we actually care about, where we've got card effects that we can talk about that we're actually bothered about.
I mean, I cared about Phantom Master Overlord.
But we don't know
But
what it
it
does.
doesn't
We went, ooh, look at this pretty picture of Phantom Battle Overlord. Isn't that nice?
I don't care. I'm going to
And
print
then
out a
look at
poster
this
of it and put it on my
prettier
wall.
picture. Look at this prettier picture of Phantom Blaster Overlord from like 6 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's pretty much it. So that's our podcast for today. Please do comment, rate, and subscribe. We're here every Tuesday reviewing the stream from Bushiroad and normally talking about how crap and underwhelming we thought it was. And also on Saturdays, we are now discussing the anime, which you guys seem to have enjoyed also joining in within the comments. So please do comment, rate, and subscribe, and we'll see you on Saturday.